Well, hello. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to Talent Punk Season 4 opening. Sublime or Sublime, up to you. I'll say Sublime Voices. Yana, Awir, dear listener, bonsoir. Over the season, I've made a point to showcase what Talent Punk was all about. A statement full of human-ness, a delightful combination of fascinating guests, charming accents like mine, festive vibes, emotional moments, beautiful tunes and moves. Touching the splendid and the superb has always been one of my quests and a passion. Therefore, I'd like to kick off this new season by deepening it, by fully immersing ourselves in the feeling of awe, the glorious, the resplendent, the transcendent with Sublime Voices. Yana, Awir.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm here, and thank you very much for inviting me to your wonderful podcast. And I'm happy to meet you all, and I'm happy to share my story and my performance with you.
Nice. I love that. Awir, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, and nice to meet you, Yana. Yeah, happy to be here.
So tonight we're going to start with Yana. Yana, a lot of people are fascinated by your voice. I've got some. I've asked, out there if you had any question for the guest, and I've got something for you, and I'll keep for a little bit later. So remember to to post it. Just remember that.
Okay.
So Yana, you live now in Dubai. You're a singer, songwriter, music producer. You've got a fabulous voice, and we can talk about mezzo soprano or mezzo, how you want to call it. You were born in St. Petersburg in Russia. Can we kick off with your childhood and the performance at a young age? Because I really want to know, and I'm sure everyone wants to know, when did you start discovering that voice? But and how it was to grow up in St. Petersburg?
Yeah, so I started to study music very young age, like around 5 years old. I was already performing in the choirs, music school, and I joined the choir, and we were participating in different concerts around the city, lots of competitions. So quite young, I started to perform solo. So, and then I don't know, I was always participating in auditions and different choirs. And when I was 12, I joined Opera House, which is a big opera house in St. Petersburg, Mariinsky Theater. I auditioned for a choir, and then I started to work in the theater as a child singer in the choir. Yeah, that's my beginning of my journey.
But before that, you went to St. Petersburg, Rimsky-Korsakov, I think, College of Music.
Yeah, College of Music. Yeah.
And why did you go there? Is that because your parents were performer, or they were?
No. My parents are not musicians.
No.
No, and when I was a child, I tried different things, dancing, trying different activities, but teachers, they recommended my parents to put more effort into music, because I was good on the stage and I loved it, and I just continued, as I was already a professional, as a child, working in a theater, and I was surrounded with a community, and everybody from our choir wanted to continue as a solo singers. You were always looking up into soloists and the theater directors. So, it's kind of I was in a community. So, but so next steps after school, it was pretty obvious for me to try to sing professionally.
So you went as well to the Russian Academy of Theatre Arts, so Academy of Young Singers. You were talking about Mariinsky.
Yeah, Mariinsky Theater. Yeah.
You dabbled into as well fashion and modeling, and can you?
Yeah, I did many things as a growing up, as a teenager, as I was participating in some photo shoots and some fashion shows. I tried many things. You know, I joined a rock band when I was 16 because I wanted to try myself in a band. You know, so I was discovering what I wanted to do with my life and who I wanted to be as an artist. I definitely knew I wanted to be an artist, but I just tried many things, whatever I liked. You know, I was kind of free to do what I wanted, so I tried.
Electronic music as well?
Electronic music started later on when I was already like a grown-up person, when I started going to clubs. So I liked electronic music, and I used to meet like DJs. And because I'm a singer and a classical singer, DJs were interested into collaborating with me. So I kind of started slowly to emerge into this path as well. But as more as an experimental, because I was still a student. I studied like classical music, and I was busy with this stuff, you know.
So, when would you say you found your voice? When was the moment you say, "I nailed it"? I
found my voice. That's it's a journey of all life, for the singer to find a voice, you know, because you change. And of course, as a young artist, I was struggling a lot, you know, to find and to understand who I am as an artist, because what I realized, I wanted to be more creative rather than following rules. Because in universities, all the colleges I studied, theater, everything is very straightforward, classical, by the book. So, but because I was always very creative and I wanted to try myself on many things, I wasn't sure what is me in this whole thing. You know, I wanted to find my own signature, my own voice, my own artistic like representation, how I wanted to establish myself as an artist. So so it was a very long journey, many years studying. Even when I moved to Dubai, I was still looking for this thing, you know. I went to London, I found new teachers to try the new school of singing. Yeah. So it was a journey for many years for me, you know.
So you went. So you were talking about London. So you went to the soprano Sandra Ford training there. So sorry, go for it.
No, I was going to say that, you know, moving to Dubai, it's a place where you have no community at all. So from a place where you have a lot of things, I came to the place where there's not many things. You know, Dubai, especially 10 years ago, was very limited, especially in things that I was doing. So I started to look outside, and then I met Sandra, and then I went to meet her in London, and, you know, started to work with her on my voice. But I think for me, crucial thing was when I learned started to learn to produce and to record. So when I started to record myself, then I started to understand what I actually wanted from myself as a singer. I think that was for me the most the point when.
And what was that?
When was that?
No, what was that? What was that? What did you want as a singer? What do you want as a singer?
I wanted to establish myself as an artist, so I wanted to find a twist on, like, use my professional background and my education, and maybe make it something my own, you know. So I was looking for a producer at that time, then I was producing myself, and I was trying to see, like, maybe there's a twist on classical music where I can, you know, where I can create something fresh, you know, something new, something that belongs to me.
Nice.
That's.
I like that, something that belongs to me. For people who don't understand what is mezzo soprano or where your voice is at, and can you just run through, like, you know, if you were talking to a dumb person who don't understand anything about music and voices, what is it? What it is? You know, yeah. I mean, we're gonna listen to you, but.
So there's the different type of female voice, which is a soprano. There's a lyric soprano, coloratura soprano, mezzo soprano, alto, contralto. So soprano is the female voice with a high range, with the high notes, very good middle range, but but also has a beautiful top notes, high notes, so high pitched notes. And coloratura is a very light and a very flexible voice where you can have lots of scales, very fast, fine vibrato. Mezzo soprano, it's a middle range with a low note, so you have high notes and low, chest. We call it chest voice, and the contralto is very low, low voice, middle to low. So mezzo soprano is something in the middle, and also richness of the sound, because soprano is more light. It's classical music we say soprano and mezzo soprano. It's a voice for special roles in the opera. So let's say lyric soprano is for a lyric role, and the mezzo soprano usually for a dramatic female person or male person in the Baroque music also. So I always had richness in my voice. That's why I stick to mezzo soprano repertoire and studying.
Nice. Let's talk about experimenting. You were mentioning that when you wanted to experiment. But you're doing something in your experimentation with classical music and new concept. Can you give us a bit of a hint on that?
I was originally recording myself, and I was recording a French song, and I was doing arrangement to French songs from 19th century, and I would rearrange them myself, and I would add texture, electronic sounds. Very experimental, and I would record myself, and I thought, okay, I should not sing maybe this too classical, because it's more it's different, and it's my own. It's basically experiment. I didn't release this music, but this is how I started to go this direction. And then when I started to work on my album Poemas de Bar with the producer and composer Julian de la Chica from Colombia. He lives in New York, and we decided to create an album, and he started sending me music, texts, and we were working on text and idea of album. So I started to make lots of recordings, so from one song, and then I used to do maybe 3 or 4 recordings of each song to kind of until we found okay, this is works for us. But even before sending music to Julian, I was recording many times to find the right sound for this. So it was a lot of work, my own personal work in the studio, to find the sound that I would be happy with. Not too operatic, not pop, but something in the middle.
Nice.
Where I could play with my voice.
It's a nice segue, because I was wanted to talk about some key dates for you, or some key moments in your life. Late 2020, your first studio album with composer Julian de la Chica, whom you just mentioned, Los Poemas de Bar. Can you tell us about your collaboration with him, and what is the Los Poemas de Bar?
So when I met Julian, we met over Zoom. We had a mutual friend who is a filmmaker from New York City, and they used to work on a movie together. So we met during lockdown, because he was also stuck here with his parents. He didn't live here in Dubai, so it was a coincidence. So we met, and then he said, you should meet Julian. He's a film composer, amazing, and he works with the opera singers. So I was very pleased, and I listened to his music on YouTube and some video, and I loved what he was doing. It's it's very much what I was looking for, because it was very modern, contemporary, I'd say, minimal, doesn't have the old school sound of let's say crossover classical music. It was very fresh, alternative enough for me, but also a very lyric, very musical, very with a little I could understand that, you know, a lot of Baroque music in it, the way the melody was going. And so, yeah, so we just connected and we started to work on the album. I didn't really ask him specifically. I just said, okay, let's do album. And he offered me Poemas de Bar. He already had this music, part of this music created, and he just, you know, developed it for me, you know, for album. So the album, I'll tell you more. The album is short stories from New York City bars.
Yeah.
So Julian, he used to go to Standard Hotel in New York, and as a young composer, new in the city, he would spend a lot of time, you know, sitting, taking notes, composing, talking to people, staying late in the bars. And so he collected those stories from people in the bar, like late night, you know, over drinks. And yeah, so that's how Poemas de Bar was created. It's basically short stories of lonely peoples, you know, drinking alone in the bar of New York City.
Nice. I mean, it happens to lonely.
Yeah, I could definitely relate, for sure. I each story I would like, I know this is definitely, I know these people. It's very common.
Is there one that you like particularly of these right?
I don't have a favorite song. No. It's for my mood, you know.
Okay.
Everything is just very different, and I don't have a favorite now.
Can we watch Blanca?
Yes, please.
Okay. Craig, when you're ready. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Thank you.
I think it's one of my preferred ones, but that's just me. Tell us a bit about Blanca. What's Blanca about?
Well, Blank is the bonus track on the album because the rest of the album is more minimal, less production. Like some of the songs just grand piano, and some of the songs has electronic keyboard texture. Blanca is a song. It's called, well, in English, White. So it's a metaphor. It's basically, if the text it's about the beautiful woman in white. She has a lineal figure, and she's a last refuge of a person. Let's say it's I think that's Julian's creation, and that relates to it's a metaphor.
Nice. Who did the can we do a shout out for the video? Who did the video?
Yeah, it's wonderful directors from Russia. They're new in Dubai. I met them recently, and then they do a lot of work for fashion.
Yep.
So they do like a lot of commercial for big brands, Gucci, Dior. They've got big billboards, and in Dubai, like they very very trendy, these guys at the moment. So it's a couple from Russia, and she's a photographer. In Instagram, her name is Yulia Pilipchenko, and her husband is called Snimu Video.
Nice.
So they work as a tandem, and she's a photographer and director, and he's a DOP. So I'm really happy, and then it was a nice work that we done.
Nice coat. The coat was very lush. And
we styled it together with Irina. Yeah.
Let's move on to other key days for you. Feb 2022, Mandala, 6 poems. That was the largest studio album, Paisaje
Nihilista, yes. Yeah, so that's the collaboration with 3 artists. It's based on a book, Paisaje Nihilista, from Susan Campos Fonseca. She's a professor of Costa Rica University, a musicologist and a poet. And Mandala is just the one part of her book. She has many parts of the book, and we were supposed to record, and still planning to record another part, which is called Gowanas, which is one of the in New York City, the boroughs in New York City. So we were recording it at the same time I was preparing for my Carnegie Hall debut. So we decided to release this part, together with my trip to New York City, and
And you mentioned it. That was my next Feb 2022 debut at Carnegie Hall in New York. How was that?
That was really great. That was an amazing experience for me, and I was so happy to be able to sing, especially my own music from my album, and perform together with Julian, and to travel to New York after COVID and after all this madness in the world.
Yeah.
And then of course Carnegie Hall for a musician, it's a big thing, and I was so happy to that I've done it. We've got a great show, amazing. Sold out, great audience, everyone was happy. I collaborated also with 2 fashion designers, one local designer, another one from Costa Rica, Oscar. So they've created 2 different outfits for me, so I was changing within my performance. It was very good. I had my fashion moment on the stage, got everything done. And of course it's it was very important for me to perform there, and it was great.
Beautiful. And September last year, so 2022, Demaya and Arcadian EP featuring yourself. So Demaya and Arcadian are 2 singers or 2?
Demaya, he's a DJ and producer. Arcadian is a live house band with a DJ, a drummer, and a trumpet player. It's 3 people. They perform together as a band, but like house music band. And then we created this track together as well.
Nice.
Actually, it was during summer, and then They were just working for a few months on this. It was a nice collaboration because it was completely, very organic, very fast. We worked. They sent me the track. It was already almost finished, and I created on top of the track vocals.
Yeah.
I spent maybe 1 hour on that. Of that creation. It was, they didn't ask me anything specific, so we were kind of very. It was very easy collaboration with us, good vibe, and then the Scorpius Music released, and Jean-Claude Hades, he done the remix, so we done all together, like a small EP, like Esperanza, with 3 different tracks. That was a good thing.
And what's next? What's anything you can just tell us a bit about? I don't know. It's cool.
Oh wow, there's many plans for me. Many plans. We're still planning with Arcadian to create more music. We have Paisaje Nihilista, which we were planning to finish also with Suzanne and Julian. There's another part of my performance in Carnegie Hall, which was written specifically for me by Julian, which is not recorded yet. So at some point, I'm happy to record this album as well. It's very beautiful. It's about Italy. It's very depressing. It's very different, but it happens in Italy, so it makes this beautiful Italian vibe.
Yeah.
Music, and also I'm of course I'm for working on my own projects and probably experience more on things, and I'm open for things. So let's see what life brings me.
Nice. Performance? Any performing?
Sure.
Yeah. Cool. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
You wanted to say something?
Performing this year. Are you performing anywhere, or are you planning to? Where can we see you if we want to see you? Do you perform in Dubai, or what's?
Yeah. So I'm right now focusing more on the studio work.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I've done some gigs with in Dubai, but more like the Esperanza. We've been performing in the clubs, so it was, and I also performed Blanca, which was interesting for me to be able to perform in a big beach club. It's a very famous beach club in Dubai. They bring top DJs from all over the world, and then there was a music festival, and I performed there Blanca, and then I performed with guys. It was very it's a transition. It was interesting because it's like unusual place for this type of music. Yeah. So I'm planning. I have some studio work at the time, but also planning some performance. I will, of course, everything is in social media. So on my Instagram, I will announce whatever comes.
Yes, and we'll communicate that before we hear you, because we want to hear you live before you're performing. I just want to read you this note from Ginny on Insta. She said, "Why is that Yana makes me cry literally every time I hear her sing? She's extraordinary." Just wanted to.
Well, thank you very much. I think it's a combination. I can say it's a combination of lyrics and a combination of music, and it's very strong vocal and music together, and of course the idea, the story. And for me, when I was recording this music, I was very engaged with the story, and I studied acting. So for me, in university, so for me it's very important not just to sing a text of a song, is to put it through myself and to understand what this person is feeling. And this is like a monologue where I'm sharing as a person in this situation in life. That's why I think it can touch people, people's soul, because it's a confession, I think. Yeah.
Nice. And this is what I wanted to ask you, what was happening in there before you perform. And I like that it's a confession. Well, I'm not a priest, but please confess yourself to us. Please.
Okay. I would like to sing for you a cappella song from my album Poemas de Bar. It's a song called New York. It's about a person who comes to New York City bar, and and it's a male. He broke up with his partner, and he is deeply sad and remembers this love moments between them, and at the end of the song, he's just saying goodbye and to the night, and goes back home early in the morning to forget his love and his sadness. That's okay. New York, una mañana gris, el tiempo que aún recuerda tu partida, el destino te arrebató de mí, corazón, sin avisar. No le importó que yo no pudiera vivir sin tu amor, y yo, pensando en ti, a tus besos, en esas noches de locura, en la terraza de nuestro bar, cuando me juraste amor, amor, amor.
Nice. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You staying with us?
Yes.
Well, Awir Leon, this is your turn.
That was amazing.
It was.
Thank you.
Magic.
Yeah.
Shall we just have a chat for 2 minutes before you go into it, or you want to go into it now?
Play the song straight away?
It's up to you, or do you want to have a chat?
No. Yeah, let's have a chat. Sure.
Yeah. So you're going to tell us about your name. I want to start with your name. I want to start with your roots, your name and your artist name. But so the roots, you're Frenchy origin? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Frenchie. I was born in north of France.
Yeah.
Close
Lens
to Lille.
or Dunkerque?
Yeah, Lens, exactly.
Yeah, Lens.
Exactly.
Very good
From
football team there.
yeah, are they still very good? I don't know. I haven't followed lately, but yeah, from Polish family.
Yep.
That came during the Second War, and stayed because we had the coal mines in the north of France, so they stayed to work in the mines.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I happened at one point, and yeah, and my name. Which name?
Well,
name you said.
I mean, your name is François. François.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce Przybylski?
Przybylski. Przybylski. Yeah.
Przybylski. But
so I guess I just explained that name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Awir is a Welsh word actually. It's So Leon is my actual second first name.
Yeah.
And it's my grandfather's name. So my grandfather was a musician and passed when I started having my solo project. So first I called my project Leon, and then it was ungoogleable. It's not a very romantic reason, but that's the real reason. It was impossible to Google to find me online because Leon is so common. So I was looking for another word, and I have a Welsh friend, Chris, who gave me. I really like the sound of Welsh, when he was speaking with his family on the phone or something, and I asked him for a list of Welsh word, and Awir was in there, and I just really liked the word. It happens to mean also sky or air.
Yeah.
But I just really like the sound of the word. Yeah.
And that's beautiful. So tell us a bit about growing up in north of France and your mom and the dance school. I don't want to say too much, but the influences from that and your taste. Developing.
Yeah. So I definitely grew up in an artistic environment in the north of France. My mom had built, like, before we were born. She was still building when I was born, but she had built a small dance school in the neighborhood where we were living. Quite a poor neighborhood, whatever. But the school was like kind of like the center of the neighborhood, and all the kids would hang out there. And so it started out as a really small school, but then it became, I guess she was giving quality classes, so all the kids from all the towns around started coming to this school. Like, soon enough there was 300 students or something like this. And
wow, that's a big school.
So yeah, and so then like some music teachers around her were like, okay, we're gonna build a music school next to it. And so me and my siblings were born within that, which is extremely lucky. And so we just had, that was our childhood. It was just hanging out there. I mean, there was the only thing to do. Like, there was literally nothing else to do. so it was perfect. And just having access to, dance and music.
Yeah, so I forgot to introduce that you are a singer-songwriter, producer, and dancer. I quote you, you say, it became clear to me around my mid-teens that this is what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know how, but I found some way. And I think you were talking about dancing and music.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah. And it's and it's true that I didn't know how. Like, when people hear about my story, they think, okay, so you had connections to this world, everything was open, but no, not at all. I was still like, even my mom had never been a professional dancer or musician or like, it was still like very much small town art school, like I actually had no idea how to make that into a job or anything like that. But then you find ways and
so when you went to a band called Uno, do you want to talk about it now quickly or
yeah, definitely. So Uno was a project that lasted from like 2008 until 2018, let's say. Something like this. So it was myself, Joachim Swab, and Abraham Diallo. Like, basically the three of us met because the three of us were beat makers. So like making instrumental for rappers, or like either for rappers or just instrumentals that stand on their own. Like, basically of this school of beat making from Jay Dilla and Flying Lotus and all everybody that branches out from these guys, basically. And we met and we decided to like. And what we had in common was that our base is hip hop, but we very much like a lot of other things as well, and had like different interests. And so that's what we tried to do with Uno. It was like having something that was as broad as possible, that could express all the music we liked between the three of us, which was a lot. And it was fun. It was
nice.
Really fun.
And you were singing?
I was like, my role was mostly singer, the vocalist, but everybody was part of everything. Actually, like, a lot of the singing lines were written by the guys. I was very much part of production as well. Like, it was
another big time in what you were doing is in 2016 Sunny. So it was a live musical concert, and that was I think managed or produced by Emmanuel Gat, who lives in Marseille. I think he's an Israeli who moved to Marseille. Yeah.
Exactly, Israeli choreographer. And Sunny basically is my transition moment because I was until Sunny. I was my job was dancer, so like the first
Okay.
thing I managed to get into coming out of my small town was dance. I
Yeah.
just tried some auditions and then was taken for dance projects. So I then was a professional dancer for around 10 years. And the person that I worked the longest with was Eleanor Catton.
Hmm.
I think we did 6 pieces together as a dancer.
Yeah.
And then just before Sunny in 2015, I told him, all right, I think I want to focus on music. Not that I'm done with dance, but yeah, I want to focus on music because I was always working on music in the back. Uno was existing, Awir already existed by then. But yeah, being on tour as a dancer he's a massive schedule. So there was just no time to actually develop music in any way. So I wanted to give my time to that. And Emmanuel was like, all right, if you want to do this, then do the next piece with me, but as a musician.
Nice.
Which is amazing from him. And so yeah, at that time I had just finished my first album, Giants.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, let's build the piece on Giants and write a few more songs. And yeah, so I ended up being on stage playing my first album with the team that I used to dance with.
Yeah.
Performing the piece around me was really cool.
Wow. Yeah. You were talking about that, so about building your own sound and identity, and your devotion to your craft. Can you tell us the evolution after 2016? You talk about that seamless integration between music and movement, and I think that's quite unique. Do you want to talk about that?
So the evolution of my sound, or
the sound, your identity as an artist, basically, and bringing movement and music together.
First, I rejected it when I stopped in 2016. When we did Sunny and all this, I wanted to be a musician, and I had been non-stop dancing every day for 10 years. So yeah, that wasn't my focus point. I wanted to first gain some credit as a musician.
Yeah.
So I focused on that, and but then gradually it crept back up, and yeah, like I don't know, 4 years later, I was like, yeah, I want dance to be a part of Awir. So it was like I actually wanted to go back on stage dancing, but it was not possible schedule-wise. That would have killed, the project.
Yeah.
So I decided to bring it back within my project, and it's not now like when I'm on stage now as Awir, I dance a lot. It's like 50% dancing, 50% music. Yeah.
So you brought it back. So you were kind of after 10 years. No, I'm over it. I just want to be recognized as a singer, and now it's kind of a reaccepting it that is part of you.
Yeah. Also, just getting older and like it's like having less ego about things, I guess. Also,
nice.
I think there was a lot of ego in me wanted to be recognized as a musician. It was like,
well, I mean, to quote you, I don't think there's a lot of ego in what you say. You say, talking about music and movement, they complement each other in creating a broader vocabulary. The body can say things a mouth can't, and the instrument can say things that a person cannot. That's awesome. That's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. That's the way I see it. They're the same thing, and just like different words.
Yeah,
different channels. Yeah.
When did
they're not separate? They're definitely not separate.
Sorry. When it's like a bit like Yana. When did you discover your voice? Because I think the first time I heard you, it was Wolf, and I'm like, oh my god, this is just purely beautiful. I mean, the voice and the music, but you have a voice which is very unique. And when did you say, or do you say to yourself, yeah, it's kind of unique, or is like, oh yeah, I'm trying it?
No, not at all. I'm actually extremely insecure about my voice, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I have zero technique at all. Like when I take singing lessons, like lately I've been trying to take singing lessons, and like the teachers are like, yeah, you can't sing basically, which, technically, you know, and like, and but it's fine. I'm also fine with it. Like it's not. I would never pretend to be a technical singer like Yana or something. I don't even know if I really see myself as a singer. I think I see myself more as like a craftsman of music in general, because it's just one of the things I do. I'm a producer. I'm a beat maker. I'm a composer. I make soundtracks. I make singing, and I just enjoy it. I just enjoy it, and it's funny that you would say that about Wolf, because, for example, Wolf. The only reason why it's out with this vocal take is because I created Wolf for a short film that we made together with Fanny Sage and Niels Castillon in Iceland. And the only reason why it's out with this version is because Niels and Fanny were like, that's the version. But I was like, I sound like shit. You know? Really? It's recorded at 4 a.m. in my room here. I'm completely drunk. It's like, but it works. But that's the beauty of art, is like you don't decide what's good, what's not. You know, I look on my Spotify, and there's songs where I spent, months, refining every little bit of the song, of the lyrics, of the vocal take, or whatever. Wolf there's literally 2 hours of work on it.
But he grabbed me.
Half an hour that night, record it, and then maybe an hour the day after to write the strings, and that's it. And that's by far my most listened to song. So it's like.
But I found out about you. It came on my Spotify. That weekly Spotify feed. Every week it gets that new. And I'm like, oh my God, I just need to hear. And I don't know what it did, but it grabbed me. And I'm like, oh, I like that. I really like it. And that's why I wanted to do the contrast. And when, when Yana accepted to do the show, I'm like, oh, this is awesome, because there's definitely a contrast between you two, but that's the definition of sublime or sublime. Your genre, your inspiration, and your style. So let's talk about, like Yana, let's talk about the fashion in one, or the way you talked about it in a great article. I think it was. I want to shout out, because that was a great article in The House, Emerging Artists Creating Music and Movement magazine.
It was a good article.
Yeah. And I don't want to paraphrase them, but it was a really, really good, deep article for one. Really good. But I like what they referring to between your genre, your inspiration and your style. Do you want to talk about it, and maybe Andre?
So I don't remember the article exactly, but I think I remember that they linked my all the genres that I put together in music with the same thing with my clothes.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, they refer to streetwear kind of, and it's working well with the music. But you apparently you've got a style icon.
Oh, did I say Andre?
Yeah, 3000.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely. Come on, he's the most stylish person on the planet.
I accept that.
No, I don't know. Like, it's like music. It's like music. I think this comes from. I mean, probably comes from how I grew up or whatever, but it also comes from my base is the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
And one of the things that is inherent to the hip hop culture is to take things from the outside and bring them in constantly. That's how house dance was born from African traditional dancing and tap dancing, and everything is bringing things out and transforming them, making them your own. So even though like you would listen to my music right now and say it's pretty far away from what we refer to when we say hip hop, but that's how it started. That's where it stems from, and this process of bringing things from outside is what made it what it is today. So just trying just whatever you like, you pick it up, you put it on. And that's what I do with clothes too. And Sometimes it turns out funny. Sometimes it turns out all right. That's, you know.
Well, I think that's a nice intro. Can we listen to you now? Do you want to?
For sure.
That was a big intro.
you asked for Wolf. Oh yeah, it's true. Can you hear the piano?
Yeah.
And we lay low before the night, 'cause we found shore when we're we put our signs so high, we lost sight of 'em. And we make lies before the night. I'll be watching you move, I'll be watching you move like a snowflake. And it'll be everything like it always was. I'll be watching you move, I'll be watching you move. Yeah, I still run until I break. Said I was fake till I was gone. We make shit up, so we just float. And I'll make light until I'm gone.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's jump to 2021. Your tour, your European tour, and I want to talk about Woodkid. And if you want to, tell us who's Woodkid and that tour.
Yeah, definitely. So Woodkid is a great French artist. if you don't know his work, like I invite you to check it out.
Johan Lemoine, yeah.
He's Johan Lemoine, yeah, musician, director, visual effect artist, visual artist of any kind, singer-songwriter. And yeah, I was a big fan of his music, and I didn't reach out to him. Actually, I released my first album, Giants, the one that we used for Sunny, and he found out about it. I'm still not sure, because I think it's because of a guy called Vladimir Koshmar now.
Nice.
DJ, yeah, that made him listen to it, and then he reached out to me, and we met. We started making a bit of music together, and then in 2018 he offered that tour. He was like, "Okay, like I would really like you to be part of my band for my next tour, and open for like be the official opening act of the whole tour.
Nice.
Then COVID happened. 3 years later, we started the tour, and it was great. We toured for almost 2 years around the world, and I opened for 50 of this. Basically, opened for all the shows that were not festivals.
And we're gonna watch, Greg, if you're ready. We're gonna show Anthem Grey from that tour.
We split in half, we split in double. We beat ourselves up for nothing new. We think we lie, we never do. We're too close to truth to follow through. Hey, look at the hole, look at the hole. It'll swallow you before you grow. Before you grow beautiful, just like you do, just like you do. We cannot clean, we cannot give up. We can't afford either, there's nothing new. We don't want grey, we don't want grey, we don't want grey, we don't want grey. Look at your face, it swims deeper than most of their eyes do. You know the blue, it's all in your hands, and you'll make it beautiful, just like you do, just like you. We don't want grey. March, baby, march. You got to need your legs, baby. Hey, march, baby, march. You got to need your legs, baby. Hey, march, baby, march. You got to need those legs, baby. Hey, march, baby, march, baby, march, baby, march.
I love that. I think it's
basically the opposite of the spectrum from Wolf.
But I like because this is the combination, you know, move, music, singing, and fashion. Wow.
Yeah. By the way, that hat that I'm wearing on stage, that I was wearing for the whole tour, is made by a good friend of mine called Pierre Courtial in Paris.
Yeah.
And yeah, shout out to Pierre.
Did you do as well the jackets, or what did you do?
Yeah. We put it together.
Nice. What's next for you? So I know that you're on tour again, which is great news for the Parisian. La Boule Noire, 17th of March as well. La Volta in Brussels. Is Berlin, London, Montreal in July. Australia, mate.
Australia, come on, mate. I'd love to. I need to.
I mean, you've got a close relationship to Australia as well, so.
I am. My wife's Australian, and But
So
I'm gonna make my way there. I'll make my way there soon enough. It's in the plans. It's in the plans. But yeah. I have these 4 shows in March, which I'm really excited about. They're my first headline shows actually. So
nice.
that's
So
really
you're gonna
exciting.
Wow. Okay. Who's doing your first
Yeah.
one?
I don't know. I don't know if there'll be one. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, excited to like finally have the room to play a set that's more than half an hour.
Oh wow.
It's been yeah, it's about time. And so much happening this year. So
New EP or new song or new album coming out, or
yeah, so
maybe?
I haven't announced it anywhere yet, but yeah, new album, definitely new album.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're the first to know that you've got a new album coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be announced very soon actually, so it's fine to say it. But yeah, I've
when is
been
that?
waiting to release this for a long time. It's been
When?
Can't say that yet.
Oh, okay. Before you come to Australia, hopefully.
Hopefully. Oh my god. No, yeah, it's been a bit of a mess trying to put everything together, but we're seeing the other end, so
yeah. Well, I'm a fan, so I'm just gonna, wait for it. And
thanks. I appreciate that.
Any trip to Dubai?
Yeah, it would be great.
I've never been. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Dubai is opening up a lot for artists now, so I think you should plan to come and perform here as well.
I'd love to hear or see a collab between you two. Anyway, it's just in the air.
Just throwing that out there. That'd be cool.
Before we come to the end of our show, do you have any question to ask to each other? Or is there anything, burning things you want to know about each other?
What made you move to Dubai, actually?
Okay, it's for personal reasons. So I got married. I was pregnant.
That's why I didn't
very
ask.
far in my pregnancy, and then because of my ex-husband, I moved to Dubai, and I have a son. He's almost 9 years old, so that was my reason, to be in the UAE. So yeah. That's why. Otherwise, it's completely unplanned, and I didn't, of course, see myself as a young singer and artist to move to Dubai for my career. So it was challenging, but it's my life. Yeah.
Yana, how was the Abu Dhabi concert last night?
The Abu Dhabi, great. We went to Imagine Dragons. It's one of my son's favorite bands. So very lots of children. But he's an amazing singer. I was surprised. I never really paid much attention to Imagine Dragons, but I loved the performance. Was great, really good, like a lot of good energy, great show. So my son was very happy. It was his first ever concert in his life. So it's
nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Very good.
And Yana, any question for Awir?
It's great that you have such a transition from being a dancer, but you also growing up in artistic and music. So you accumulated all of these things in yourself, and I believe as a dancer you physically can express like emotions and vibes and everything. So how was your first ever singing experience on the stage?
Nice question.
Ooh, it was a mess. It didn't go well at all. It didn't go well at all because I didn't have any tools to deal with stress.
Oh, okay.
So however I was able to sing at home or with my friends or whatever, suddenly on stage it was like and basically like this the whole thing. And but still, and it took me a while, even though I was very used to being on stage as dancer, which sounds like it would be more vulnerable because it's about your body. Sometimes you don't have many clothes on or whatever, but actually you're way more naked when you're singing.
The voice is special, and speaking and singing, voice is very related to psychological part. Like if you're not really okay psychologically, it shuts down everything. So it's
100%.
But it's great. It's 100%. Great. You have very beautiful voice, and I like what you do on the stage. It's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I'd actually would really like to see you live. Just on Zoom, that was amazing. So.
Yeah. Well, it's great to have. It's great to be able to connect as well, like all internationally, because all of my work, being in Dubai, happened to be international from New York, Costa Rica. It's like super far away, different time zones, but it's possible these days. So it's amazing to be able to do that stuff right now. So it's great.
That's cool.
Last question for you, Awir. Same question to you. Why did you move to Amsterdam?
Same. I mean,
you got married.
Yeah. No. Like, I mean, that's why people move, no? I met Jen, my girlfriend, in a dance company. We worked together for Emmanuel Gat.
Yep.
And she's Australian, but she was already in Amsterdam for some years. So started visiting and liked it.
That's a connection to Australia.
Yes.
All right. Well, ça y est, c'est fini. That's it. Wow.
C'est fini.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Oli. That was really...
For me, it was, I don't know for everyone, but for me, it was a moment of bliss. And I love that, creating this moment of bliss. But before we conclude our show with you, Awir, and Coming Home, we're going to watch that. It's your newly released, your newly video clip. I'd like to thank every single one of you who are making these moments happen, whoever you are in the world at the moment. Yana, Awir, thank you. You're so beautiful souls. Thank you so much for being part of this little exercise, this little project. Listeners, thank you for supporting us. Craig, magician, love you, man. Kate, Beth, we love your art. Your art. I don't know if you saw, but there was some art attached to, very unique, attached to this project. And Kate, you're amazing. I want to leave you with a few words, not from mine, but with these words. So to experience sublime natural beauty is to confront the total inadequacy of language to describe what you see or hear. Words cannot convey the scale of a tone, a voice that is stunning. It is felt. Thank you, Eleanor Catton. I am because of you, because you are, because we are. Thank you, Ubuntu. Craig, take it away.
Go easy now, we've been trying. Every day, every night, we found mirrors, we found holes, and we climb every time. Every time feel like coming home. Yeah. Everything feel like coming home. Yeah. And I know we gotta figure some out. But everything feel like coming home. Much as we try to tame time, it always barks in our eyes. There's no beauty, that's not why. It's how it is in my eyes. Instead of grab holds, they grab holds. And that's not really not there. We'll find seconds that feel like time. And we'll climb every time. And everything feels like coming home. Yeah, yeah, everything feels like coming home. And I know we gotta figure some out. Yeah, everything feels like coming home. And I know we gotta figure some out. Yeah, everything feel like coming home.
Beautiful, the flowers at the end. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and all the best. Bon vent.
Thanks, Oli. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Nice to meet you, Yana.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you so much.